Hi team. So today we are going to discuss about the live Kubernetes environment, how it will be, and if you take any project, right, how they are planning when before they comes to Kubernetes infrastructure, and I'm gonna show some of the architecture of a live project, whatever I have, and in addition to that, in that video, I'm gonna also show you us how the real projects, what will be our day-to-day task, what kind of different tasks we need to prepare when we are started working on any live project. Okay. So in addition to that, I'm going to show you how Kubernetes is very important for future, and by comparing past and present, what is the major change, the graph and statistics reports, everything, right? I'm going to show you in this video. But I'll make sure by end of this video, right, each and every one of you will have a clear idea about the end-to-end real project Kubernetes. So with that, if you go for an interview and all, you will get some meaningful presentation you will be able to give during the interview. Okay, so that is action plan. So let me get started with the video. So before getting into the video, if anybody newly watching, please do subscribe our channel, okay, and like and share with your friends. That will be really good. Okay, so that is a way you are showing your support for our continuous providing more videos like that. Okay, so that's good. So let me start with the actual point today. So in today's emerging cloud native environments, Kubernetes is everywhere. Yeah, we know that. So mostly, right? If you go any environment nowadays, people are more and more talking about Kubernetes. Yeah, we have a reason for that. Why the reason? Timing. We got more requirement from Kubernetes. Many of them using Kubernetes. Why sudden peak in Kubernetes? All there is a backend reason. Of course, there is a backend reason. Yeah, we'll discuss about it, but that is a fact actually. Everywhere if we go, most of the people know for cost optimization and the more productivity and easy to manage, easy to control, for all these reasons, right? From virtual physical machine or virtual machine concept, they are coming to Kubernetes. Also, a high availability we have with Kubernetes. That is the main reason. So let me explain para by para, so that will be good. So first, let me start with this. Simply put, Kubernetes make it easier to manage software complexity. Okay, as enterprise application become more complex, development and operations, DevOps teams need to tool that can orchestrate that complexity. They need a way to launch all the services depends on these applications, making sure applications and services and healthy can connect to one another. So which means what they're trying to say simply today, right? Kubernetes is making everything easy. Whatever the complex situation we had earlier, they made it very simple. Okay, so especially for a DevOps team, right? They are using many tools. When Kubernetes came to the picture, it's made very easy, and they are so providing many solutions for their complexities actually. Okay, so main thing we have to understand one thing, right? There is something called CNCF. Anyone heard about the CNCF? Basically, in fact, Kubernetes is originally developed by Google. We all know that Kubernetes is a tool, orchestration, container management tool, which has been developed by Google. But now, okay, when they made it as open source, all the cloud service provider, right, they have taken that as one of the service. But today, if you take now managed by Cloud Native Computing Foundation, the short form is Cloud Native Computing Foundation. This short form, right? We are calling it as a CNCF. So what are the roles and responsibility of CNCF? Today, even though Google Cloud has been developed, Google has been developed the Kubernetes, today it's been completely managed by CNCF. So has become the standard. Okay, they are providing, the CNCF is providing standard for cloud container orchestration and providing platform for automation deployments, scaling and operation of application containers across the multiple cloud cluster of hosts. So basically, the CNCF, I mean that Cloud Native Computing Foundation, right? These are the people who providing a standard. Okay, standard in the sense how my cloud container should be. Okay, what is the uniqueness about all these things, and what is the common factor about all these things? Because today everybody, right? Amazon Web Service having Kubernetes service, Google Cloud having Kubernetes service, Azure has Kubernetes service, and many other cloud providers also providing a Kubernetes as one of the service. So the CNCF providing a major today, it defines the standard across all the cloud service providers, and it gives you more centralized application platform. That is the reason Kubernetes is common across everywhere. Many times I told you on my previous videos. Even if you use any cloud platform or on-prem, whatever, Only the platform, the environment where you hosted your Kubernetes cluster, that's gonna differ. But architecture-wise, command line management, everything that is exactly similar, right? So this CNCF defines the standards when come to a cloud-based Kubernetes service. All right, this is one of the key points to know, everyone. So now I'm going to show you the growth over the last 2 years. It has moved from development and testing to production environment in many enterprises. We can't believe, right? Last 2 to 3 years, right? We could see the growth on people, right, who were using Kubernetes, not only on development and testing. Initially, it was developing and testing only more, but recent days, right, we could see people are started using production as well. According to 2019 CNF Global Survey, okay, container management market, 78% respondents and running Kubernetes in production. Okay, then huge jump. So almost 8% in 2008. 2018 we had adjusted 58%. After that, right, by the survey which conducted in 2019 by CNCF, people are telling almost 78% of people, right, they have started using Kubernetes for their production actually. Here, if I explain, it will give you more clarity actually. Also, we would see 5,000 plus employees were increased worldwide. Okay, especially primarily, North America and Europe countries, right? They are using more. All right. So of course, from India, we are supporting those countries and those customers, right? So that's what all about. Okay. So coming to this statistics report, you can see CNCF survey data on use of containers since 2016. From 2016 to 2019, the survey has been taken care. So yeah, they are working on taking last 2 years as well. That's fine. So fine. If you take March 16, right, it starts with this sky blue, and slowly you can see the darkness is getting increased. This is a development environment. When you take a Kubernetes, this is a development environment. When you take a Kubernetes, this is a testing environment. When you take a Kubernetes, this is a POC. When you take a Kubernetes, this is a production actually. Okay, so when come to production, you could see, so initially 2016, just 23% of people only using it. Slowly 57% of people using, next year. And if you could see, right, 2017, March and December, people were using 64%, 69%, something like that. July, people were using 75%, 73%, but 2019, right, people were, dramatically increased like 84%. Everywhere you could see, we could see almost to 90% of people started using Kubernetes for their environment. Okay, so earlier there were lots of difficulty in using Kubernetes and implementing, installing, many challenges we were faced, but that has been addressed by CNCF. So now, yeah, upcoming portion we'll discuss about it, but this is the honest fact today. Okay, today, as of now, today's data, right, yeah, still survey is going on, but my prediction, people are used 90% of growth. We got people who are using production. This is the main reason. Today, nowadays, many job interviews, if you go, many company, wherever you go, in DevOps factor, many of them using Kubernetes. In every job interview, in job description, right, they have mentioned the Kubernetes is mandatory. So if you take another 1 or 2 years, right, definitely without Kubernetes, you cannot survive in industry. That is another point. Okay. So now, understanding your organization current Kubernetes adoption. So when you planning to go, see, you are a Kubernetes engineer or CK administrator or developer, whatever, since you are a Kubernetes responsible person in your project or organization. So before you go into Kubernetes, you need to understand some factors. Okay. So building an enterprise Kubernetes strategies, start with understanding the where Kubernetes is running in your organization and imagining how it's going to change the next decade. So we need to think where you are planning to host your Kubernetes. Okay, the strategy you need to plan well. So whether it's going to be cloud-based one or whether you're going to self-manage Kubernetes. Self-managed Kubernetes, you have to manage end-to-end. Literally, it's going to be on-prem. So when you come to on-prem, right, we have an option. ADM, nowadays widely people are using this as a tool. Using that, you can provision your on-prem based Kubernetes cluster, followed by QoPS, KubeSpray, and Launcher, RKE. Okay, build like many other options where we can manage our on-prem based Kubernetes, self-managed Kubernetes cluster. But comparatively, right, everyone love to go with cloud-based Kubernetes only. I told you, right, initially when I started this video, it's not only about why people started suddenly giving growth to Kubernetes, why close to 90% of people have started using Kubernetes in production. The main reason is cloud service provider only. Once Cncf taken standards, and when they are permitting cloud service provider to provide Kubernetes is one of the services. It's very easy for them. Already many people were with cloud. They are using AWS, Azure, GCP. When they added Kubernetes as one of the services, it's made very easy to them to start continue using it. And it has very great features when comparing self-managed Kubernetes service. So these are the hosted Kubernetes service. Hosted in the sense there is somebody else will be managing your Kubernetes cluster. You will have a interface to manage your Kubernetes resources. Google has GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. Amazon has EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. DigitalOcean, Azure providing AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service, and many more service providers are using. But these are the 3 to 4 hosted Kubernetes providers are peak in market today. Okay, so when you are planning for your enterprise Kubernetes strategy, I personally suggest go with hosted based, I mean cloud based Kubernetes cluster. That is the future actually. Okay, that's what they are telling. How it's going to change the next decade. So when you are planning, you need to keep in your mind space. This should be our action plan actually. Teams can use Kubernetes to build large cluster infrastructure. Then other development team share the resource clusters of Kubernetes namespace. So when you are provisioning any Kubernetes cluster, right, that can be done it in 2 ways. Okay, you can have only one cluster. Okay, using the namespaces, right? There is a resource in Kubernetes called namespace. So see, if you could see, development team will in the same cluster, you have only one cluster. So in the one cluster, you will have one namespace for development team, one namespace for your testing team, one namespace for your pre-production team, another namespace for your production team. Like that, you can segregate your cluster by creating multiple namespace. That is one option. That's what they have suggested here. Okay. So by continuing this, you can see you have another one option also. By segregating namespace is first option. If you are a biggest enterprise customer, what I can suggest to you is other organization left the individual department or DevOps team to decide for themselves how and where to use Kubernetes. In this organization, it's not uncommon that have dozens of cluster deployed across the public cloud and company data center. So basically, we will be having a plan actually. Okay, so we will all the DevOps team and the individual department heads will sit and think. Okay, when they have a biggest enterprise strategy, so that time right they'll come up with the second option. They will come up with basic stuff. Okay, so. All right, so that's what I'm telling. Either you can go with, if you're a small scale industry, you can manage your cluster using different namespaces in single cluster. When you're having a bigger enterprise level of cluster, when you are using many application, wide application, you'll have to sit with your department heads and the DevOps teams to decide how it should be. So you end up with saying a dedicated cluster for each their operation. So development team will have their own cluster, and testing team will have their own cluster, production team will have their own cluster. So that is the biggest enterprise strategy. That much business your organization gives you, that much income you'll get it. No, that obviously you can go with this strategy, second strategy. This is for enterprise level strategy. Okay. If Kubernetes and containers are going to become a primary platform for running application across any infrastructure, IT manager must collaborate with the DevOps team to plan a strategy for Kubernetes satisfy the need of development organization and meets IT want as well. So if your application, right, you have completely decided it's going to be a Kubernetes will be a primary platform to run all your application, then all your IT managers and DevOps team and sit and plan for a strategy. What I suggested, go with individual cluster for each department and plan accordingly. Okay, that is what they are telling. This all comes when you are suggesting any cluster and when you are planning for any cluster for your environment. Okay, this is one of the Kubernetes live project architecture diagram. So I'll try to explain all these. I given a reference link in the description, in this video description I'll give. If you want to deep dive about this, you can go and you can explore it. It's not an issue. Okay. So now I'll suggest what things are available. So in this architecture diagram. So basically, if you look at this is our VPC, this is also my VPC again, where I'm having multiple availability zone. This architecture diagram, right? I explained, yeah, this is one of my live project architecture diagram only. I explained this architecture diagram based upon AWS cloud architecture. Okay, same way we will have a applicable for GCP, also Azure as well. Okay, we'll look into it. So here you can see when outside people, right, somebody trying to reach my things, they'll be coming it through the node group. Here is my node group. So behind the screen, in one availability zone, I'll have one node group. In another availability zone, I'll have another node group actually. Okay. So I have IAM here for authentication and all. AWS itself, I'm IAM service. I'm creating IAM user through RBAC, rollbacks access control. I'll be providing access to my IAM users. And for monitoring my nodes and checking the utilization, everything will be taken care by my CloudWatch. That is again inbuilt service. Yeah, if you want to go with some third-party tool also, you can go. There is no issue. In our environment, we use default monitoring tool, okay, to monitoring the nodes and the utilization, everything. Also, so if you look at, we provide the auto scaling in this between these node actually. If something goes down in your worker node, the auto scaling will replace with a new node, or highly utilizing. Both the nodes are running fine, but utilization is very high. Many people are trying to access my cluster. On that case, my auto scaling, okay, this guy will be reproducing one more worker node, okay, based upon the need actually. I'll be using ALB ingress actually. Whenever I'm exposing application through service, I have an ingress rule, ingress controller in place. Through that ALB, application load balancer, I'm exposing all my applications, and I'll be having Route 53 for managing and mapping my application to outside cluster. Okay. And I use also default databases. If you want, you can go with that. And if you go here, right, same, this architecturally, again, it's explained. Here we have detailed explained. Here, they compressed and they have explained it. All right. So this is one of the AWS cloud and region. Here they are configuring the pipeline setup. This is something called GoGreen pipeline setup. Here they used code commit and code build code pipeline tool. That is also again inbuilt AWS services. But most of our cases, right, we can even have a Jenkins also our pipeline tool. Okay, using Jenkins also, we will be able to manage our pipeline strategies, and we can set up our all Kubernetes-based pipeline. When you go with the code commit, code build, right, again, this is chargeable. Jenkins is an open source one. Since if you have a Jenkins, right, you can set up your architecture diagram over here. Okay, so we use CTL to manage all these things. AWS CLI is also we are using, and the SDK development kits. Engineering team will be responding for managing this pipeline, and Kubernetes administrator will be managing or setting up the cluster and managing all those tasks and resources. Okay. So this is a reference link. I'll share this in our URL, okay, down in the description. You can have a more reference. Again, coming to this list of tasks, day-to-day activity, I can say. What would be the maximum day-to-day activity before attending interview, or before you start, even you clear the interview, before you start to work on any company. I strongly recommend following could be your role, because when you're customer creating any ticket or when you got any task, it should be any one from the listed below only. So I strongly recommend go ahead and have some hands-on on this practically. Then you approach for an interview, or then you start join any new project if you are a beginner. Okay, so basically what kind of different task you will get, a list of tasks, installing tools, customer or either you will be facing, we'll have to install many tools, AWS CLI and Helm package, or AKCTL or kubectl, kind of many dependency and many tools are there. IAM authenticator, OIDC provider. Okay, so like many dedications are there. At least you need to know about all the tools, how it to be installed. Okay, and administrator cluster. Administrator cluster, and listen how many worker nodes are there, what is the status of worker node, monitoring the worker node, and checking worker node current I mean bandwidth all, and the utilization is okay, or we need more worker node, and patching on worker node, those kind of, okay, maintenance mode of worker node, everything we need to take care of. And configuring a parts and the container. When you come to your Kubernetes, you need to responsible for configuring pod, deployment, replica set, all those basic resources, right? That kind of task frequently you will receive. These are chances of getting frequent thing. And monitoring, logging, and debugging. Okay, what is the monitoring tool we are using? Either you are using default Kubernetes monitoring mechanism or CloudWatch kind of thing, or you have any separate paid third-party tools also available, which one you are monitoring. If any error comes, how are you fetching the logs? Okay, how we are debugging the issue based upon the log, all these things, right? You should have some familiarization before start to work on any live project. And manage Kubernetes objects. When you go into the Kubernetes, what are the different resources are there? What are the different APIs are there? Okay, managing your volumes, managing your config map, managing your specific daemon set or deployment, whatever. No, it should really good if you have a prior knowledge. And managing secrets. Okay, secrets, whenever you have an application, you wanted to pass any confidential information, right? We use secret. So if you're having this knowledge, that will be really good. Okay, inject data into application. So specify configuration and other data. So you are running any application or pod, you want to specifically pass any information into the pod, or you need to modify anything, or you need to change your image or whatever. That awareness and hands-on, you should be having it. These kind of tasks also you will get it frequently. And run applications, either stateless or stateful application, you should be in a position to run your application. When you should be in a position to create a deployment.yaml or stateful YAML, whatever. You should be in a position to integrate your application into that and provisioning your application into it. Okay, run job. This is work for kind of a cron for scheduling operation and all. We'll use it. It will be good if you have knowledge on run jobs. And access application in a cluster. When you have a application, you need to use services to expose your application. You need to configure a load balancer, ELB, or application load balancer to expose your application. DNS configuration using Route 53 or something like that. So make sure your application is accessible through proper URL. Okay, whatever the process involved in order to access it. All these things you should be familiarized with that. Not only your application accessing through URL, you need to make sure proper security layer TLS certificate has been added, SSL certificate has been added. Okay, properly your application is loading to HTTPS. All this process, whichever behind, right? I think we have already discussed about all this stuff. So that part really important. You will get a task on that. Manage cluster daemons. Okay, so managing our daemon set. So for kind of monitoring, or you are having any log management, anything, or you are installing any agent, okay, in your cluster. So daemon set is very crucial to manage in your cluster. And networking, you should know about networking. What is the IP addresses are managing? Is there any other IP address need to be provisioned? Or between the pod level, any communication, between the application level communication. If you have that knowledge, right, that will be really good. And managing cluster and Kubernetes images. Okay, this part frequently you will get tasked actually. So building and managing your own images. Okay, let me correct it here. So whatever the different images you are having, whatever the different tasks you are having, okay. So all these stuff, how to create a Docker file, how to take the image backup of a running container or something like that, how to push it to Docker Hub repo or Amazon, ECR registry, kind of all this end-to-end image processing, right? You should be aware of these kind of tasks also. You will get this is the frequently getting task, guys, when you work on a project. So nothing more than that. If you start used to work with that, right, by experience you'll came to know remaining stuff. Okay, but these are the fundamental before getting into any job. So make sure you're having these much knowledge. That will be really good. Okay, so apart from that, if anybody newly watching this video who wants more data and detail about this entire session, every week, right, every week we are starting new Kubernetes batches. So everything again going to be a real project based trainings only. If anybody really wanted to join that particular batch, call this number, okay, and they tell I wanted to connect with Hari, so they will route directly to me, so we can have a discussion. Based on that, I'll take you into my batch. Okay, so our affordable fees will be helping you out to join our Kubernetes batch. So fine, thank you for watching this video. Now hope you got enough information. So please do subscribe and share with your friends. That will be really good. So by doing this, right, it will encourage us to put more videos and research and getting all the status report. We will put more effort and we'll give you all the other future upcoming data. Okay. Thank you all. Thanks for watching this video.